So, Lauren, we've both been to industry trade shows for work, like E3, where all of the gaming industry companies show off their upcoming titles and their new gaming systems for the press. And I'm sure that you, because you are not a blind lady, have noticed the sexy hired actors that a lot of companies will bring to man their booths and draw in crowds.
Absolutely. You're talking about booth babes, aka promotional models or marketing event consultants, right?
Exactly. It's actually a pretty incendiary topic. There have been efforts to have booth babes banned from certain shows like CES because a lot of people believe it's really just nothing more than exploitive pandering.
Yeah, in 2013, Fast Company said it's an outdated practice that comes from the prevalence of men in executive business positions, which is like 85% men. And in April 2014, Time magazine described the use of booth babes at industry shows as nauseatingly passé.
But we should point out that the term booth babes is actually really specific to people, usually women, that are hired to appear in really scantily clad outfits, whereas booth actors or booth hosts may also be models and actors that are hired to appear at the show, but they're usually not so sexualized, and they often actually know a lot about the product that they're helping to promote.
What really fascinates me, though, is what it's like from the other side of the equation. I've always wondered who these people are and what their job actually involves.
Well, lucky us. We know some people who have worked this very job, and so we're gonna ask them what it's like from that opposite side of the booth. So this is Angie and Chris Duplass, and they have worked at many trade shows, primarily for Sega, and I have witnessed them in action and they know their biz. So, how did you guys get started working at trade events?
We were big nerds and had awesome costumes from the movie Aliens, and Sega spotted us online and got a hold of the folks that run our costuming group, said, you want to come hang out? And one convention led to another, and all just because we weren't seeking professional fame, we were trying to do this as any type of job. It just sort of fell into our laps because we were doing what we loved.
So by accident.
Yeah.
What's a typical day like for you guys when you're on a show floor?
Up at 2 a.m. It's the 9 to 5 thing, but you're showing up instead of sitting in a cubicle, you're throwing on your armor. And for us, because we're not just the booth babe with a t-shirt going, play our game, I have babes.
You say that sometimes.
I mean,
Come
I do
on,
that.
let's
If I'm
be
really
real.
trying to sell a little bit, I'm not above flashing a little something. But since we are passionate about the movie Aliens, the whole franchise, and can talk about all the knickknacks on our gear and the little weird behind the scenes things, the fans there are trying to drill you because they think you're one of these people they just hired. We always got, is that your costume? You get to keep that when you're done? I'm like, I better, it's mine. I sure
So yeah, we got a
hope.
lot of those moments.
So they were shocked that we were as big a fans as perhaps they were about this franchise and could share, and we weren't just your average, TNA there, but,
Right.
knowledgeable TNA.
So, how do attendees usually react to you guys?
They're excited about the franchise. We're excited about the franchise. And I think a lot of them were very surprised when we could legitimately offer a meaningful conversation about it. We knew things about it. And it, like Chris said, that moment about this is mine. And
That broke the ice.
face was just, oh my gosh, okay, yes, you're here for real. Because we're nerds, we wanted to spend time, seeing what's around there. And we were frustrated too when we would go to other booths and we would encounter the booth babe and, what can you tell me about this game or what's going on here? And they don't know anything.
Is it a shooter
All
or
they
an
know how to
RPG?
say is to follow us on Twitter and use this hashtag or here's a flyer. And it was just really
Want a
frustrating
keychain?
because it's like, I have a limited amount of time. There's a ton of things I want to see. You don't know anything. Get out of my way.
And I feel for them because they're hired to do the
Right,
job. They
right.
just aren't really briefed properly on how to do it a lot of the time.
Well, we would come in a little early because we wanted to see what we could before the show floor actually opened. And you would see the different groups there, and there's all the models, and they're kind of getting, the guy's like, okay, and don't forget to tell them this, and make them sign up for this, and whatever. And they're just kind of like,
Without wanting to get you guys in any kind of trouble or really dig for dirt, is the kind of experience that you have had or the kind of experience that you have seen other booth talent have dependent upon the company hiring them or the show that you're at or just the quality of the attendees overall?
for most of them, it's just a job. A lot of times you would see other booth babes just complaining about their day, and here we are, Joe Schmo working in an office and getting to come do this amazing thing and thinking, you don't know how lucky you are.
You're air conditioned, you're inside,
Yeah.
everybody adores you. You're at this premier event. I mean, E3's off the street tickets are close to $1,000, I think. And so it's ridiculous in the fact that you just get to walk in and see this. And so another key, I guess, is being appreciative of what you get to do there and not being a dork about it.
Now, I have to ask, and I know, Angie, you also work events like for spirit companies. Have you ever been harassed on the job or seen other people kind of getting some awkward treatment?
Absolutely. I think when you're doing things where you're putting yourself out in public, people come up with assumptions and sometimes take it a little too far in saying, you know, hey, come and drink with me, or hey, come on, let's party, or give me this, or, you know, assuming that you're there to take care of their needs and their whim, and
Sorry
that's
about
just
that.
not the case.
On a more positive note, what is the best experience you guys have had at a convention?
Oh.
Pick one.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay, pick one?
Yeah,
right
one.
now.
Okay. It was
Yeah,
New
not
York
that.
Comic Con, and we knew that Bill Paxton was going to be
And
at our
Lance
booth.
Henriksen,
We
who we'd
did.
already hung out,
We
had a
already got
smoke
to see,
with,
yeah, and that was
chilled.
amazing. Bill Paxton was at our booth and he was doing an interview, and you know, of course, all of our Sega buddies were trying to, you know, help us, and they said you really have to go through his manager.
She was mean, like
We were
Attila the
there.
Hun mean.
She
like,
came up and she was about to shut us down until he saw us, and then his face, he was like, oh.
Well, my armor is painted in
his-
his style from the movie.
yeah.
So he sort of pushes his manager out of the way, and he sees it. And in the movie, he had his wife's name painted up here with a love knot tied around it. And he goes, "That armor's great. You just gotta have your wife." And I pulled it back. I said, "I do have my wife." And he's like, "We gotta do this, guys." And
We're like, oh.
we had a
They were trying
photographer
to put it all
friend.
cool. Yeah, we had somebody stationed, ready to
Oh, yeah.
go,
All
so that we could
professional.
just like, you know, come in, do the pose, boom, we're gone, and not make it a big
Oh,
thing,
it was-
and just get the moment. But it was so cool because it was just a really genuine moment where he was
Yeah.
excited to see us. We were, of course, excited to see him.
He remembered his armor, and and you could see him
He
light
could
up.
man the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Here,
Oh, yeah.
you put it on, Hudson." He's like, "Dude, why don't you put her in charge, man?"
So, on a more businessy tone, what is the compensation situation like? Without getting into hard numbers, how does this play out for you guys? And is it worthwhile?
Millions of
Technically-
dollars.
Technically, they don't pay us to be there, but they do make it a cost neutral thing. You know, they make it so that we have the ability to do it. And go
Flying,
there, yeah.
you know, to PAX, to go to Boston, New York, LA, San Francisco, San Diego, all in one con season would be, you have to be, you know, Bruce Wayne, right, kids, he's rich, to do that. And it was never something that we could do on our own. So we were very, very thankful for the opportunity to get to do it.
So, do you guys plan to continue to do this work as booth actors?
If the opportunity presented itself, probably.
Probably, yes.
No, probably about it. So, if you suddenly had one magical superpower that you could use exactly once, and it was to change one thing about how the industry and its interaction with booth actors works, what would it be?
Be nice to people. It's a long day.
For them and us.
Nice, yeah. It's just about making meaningful engagements, and that really isn't hard.
At the end of the day, we're all playing video games, dressing up like superheroes, so we should all just be cool with each other, right?
Yeah.
And that's your life lesson for the day. So if you would like other life lessons or other information on topics like this, you can absolutely do the clicky and subscribe. If you have had an experience at a trade show or a convention with a booth actor or a booth babe and you want to share that, do that in the comments. And you can always visit us at howstuffworks.com and research almost anything you can think of. So we'll see you there.